Just before you watch the entirety of this video, hoping to learn something, this is just a silly little update video. This is not a tutorial. Now that's out of the way, let's get into the video. Cut the intro. We need to go way back to the very beginning. Before there was the intro, before there was anything else in my life car related, we have to go back to day number 1. The day I got my first truck, my first vehicle ever, the 2001 Ford Explorer Sport Trac. Before the day I got my first vehicle ever, I just didn't care about vehicles. I had no interest in them. My father's been working on vehicles since he could walk, and he always tried to get me into working on vehicles, but I just never made the leap until I got my first vehicle. To me, it was like this. I didn't care because it's kind of like I don't care how to put a diaper on a baby because I don't have a baby. It was similar with vehicles. I admired cars from a distance, but I just didn't care how they worked, how to work on them, how to maintain them. I was completely clueless. 5 years later, I'm 20 years old, and one of the biggest aspects of my life has become working on vehicles. Just imagine a 15-year-old me, I was full of testosterone, I just wanted to go fast. So once I got the Sport Trac, I started learning everything I could about vehicles. I started doing some very silly modifications. But now it's 2018 and I drive a Nissan Frontier Pro 4X. I love that thing to death because it's safe and it's not trying to kill me. But this begs the question, where is my Sport Trac? Well, it's been in storage for about 5 months now behind this workshop underneath the tarp, and it's been hanging out all winter long. Haven't touched it, haven't seen it. It's just been zipped up in this tent and I've just left it there. The reason the Sport Trac has been back there for so long is because about 5 months ago, before the Frontier was even in my life, I was driving home from my very last shift as a lifeguard ever. I quit after 4 years. I was on my way home from my last shift. I was turning right at a 4-way stop in the country and the steering decided to lock up and my Sport Trac threw itself with me in it into a ditch. Sitting at the bottom of this ditch, I was alive, I was still breathing, and the first thought that crossed my mind was this thing has tried to kill me way too many times. I need to move on. I need to get something else. Hence why that thing is now in storage and I haven't touched it, because every single time I try and take it out, it tries to kill me in one way or another. I had had enough. I drew the line there. I just didn't want the Sport Trac trying to kill me anymore. It's happened in the past and this one was just bad enough that I knew I had to move on. Don't get me wrong, I love the Sport Trac more than anything else, way more than the Frontier, way more than the SRT10 that's here behind me, way more than any of the other vehicles that I've ever had in my life. I love the Sport Trac because it was my first vehicle. It's what sparked the interest in the beginning and what made me create this channel and just fall in love with everything automotive. I love it to death. That'll never change. But I just don't think that it loved me back. Now I've explained the story of my Sport Trac, let's try and revive it. The Sport Trac is now being charging up for a few hours, so let's plug her in and give it a shot. God, I miss this thing. Woo, the big moment. It's alive, it's alive. It's alive! God, how I have missed this thing. Sadly, for obvious reasons, I can't actually take it on the road today. Well, after 4 months of being through a harsh winter, this truck started up no problem. I couldn't be happier with this thing, and hopefully I'll be bringing some more videos to YouTube on the Sport Trac and little modifications and tips and tricks and all that fun stuff. Mostly now I'll be working on the Frontier, but I'm so happy this thing still has a heart. It's still alive. There's one thing left to do that I'm dying to try out, and that's my favorite part of this truck. The Frontier can't beat this. The sound system in this thing is unmatched, unrivaled, and I'm just dying to give it a shot here. So let's see what we got. The only time. Don't be So maybe music isn't the best idea, since apparently the bass is too heavy and it made the camera slide off the dash. I love this thing. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to our small but growing family, because the more of you there are, the cooler content I get to bring you guys. If you want to see a review of my Sport Trac from several years ago, click right here. And if you want to see how to leave your fog lights on even with your high beams on, click right here. If you guys have any cool ideas of videos you want to see me do, leave those down below in the comments. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.